Welcome to today's video, and this is my ranking for the 2021 driver lineup if they were all driving the same car. So the age-old question is how a driver would compare to another driver if those two were in the exact same car and had the same hardware to deliver. So today I'm going to be diving into my opinions on where the drivers would all be ranked if they were all in the same car. So let's get into it. This is a good start, it's a good start. For me, my number one is Lewis Hamilton. It's easy to say that, bearing in mind he has had the best car over the last, 5-6 years. But for me, Lewis Hamilton is a proven race winner in a car which didn't actually win the Constructors' title, and he's competed across multiple years and always been at the top. You know, he's been in amongst the pack before and shown that he can, you know, overtake and make his way through the grid again. Thinking of Sebastian Vettel sometimes when he had that dominance but was qualifying, you know, 5th, 6th sometimes, and he really seemed to struggle to get his way through and seemed quite poor at his overtaking manoeuvres. So for me, Hamilton's number one. Number two, I'm going Max Verstappen. I think the kid is insane. He's clearly got talent, and I would love to see him and Hamilton in the same car one year just to see what would happen. You know, I think it would be close, but I just, you know, I think it would be really great to see those two together. He has overperformed time and time again, and he has a really good racecraft, and he is just a brilliant race driver. So he gets my number two in that one. Number three for me is Charles Leclerc. We've not really seen him in a dominant Ferrari, but what we have seen of him in that Ferrari has been good, and I really do believe he is a great race driver, and I think he would you know, be top 3 in it most times and getting on the podiums if he was in the same car as everybody else. Number 4 for me is Daniel Ricciardo. Now, there is logic behind this, and it's because I don't think I could put Vettel any further down than 5th, being a 4-time world champion. Ricciardo and Vettel had a season together, and at the end of the day, Ricciardo smoked him that year, and they were in the same car. So he's proven, you know, in the Renault to overperform, you know, get the most out of his tools, and he is a very talented race driver, so, and a past race winner as well. So for me, he pips Vettel and gets number 4. Vettel for me is in 5th because, as I've just mentioned earlier, when he had his dominance in Red Bull, you know, I found that he hasn't quite been the best position qualifying. He really struggles, and I think he is quite poor when it comes to overtaking. There's no doubt he's a, you know, he's what, 4-time world champion. He is an incredible race driver, but I see errors in him which, you know, they happen far too often. Even when he's been in brilliant cars, you know, you see that happening. So for me, Vettel is in the number 5 slot. Number 6, I'm going George Russell, and that's not just because I believe the hype that he is the next world champion and messiah, and I haven't got lost all my marbles over the Sakir Grand Prix. The reason I've picked George Russell as number 6 is because he undoubtedly has talent, as he proved in Bahrain. However, the kid's, you know, won Formula 2 in his rookie season, and I know it seems a bit of an odd one thrown there, but the esports sort of virtual world championship that they did do this year, where all the cars were level, and I know it's got nothing to do with official Formula 1 racing, but I mean, it's quite a big factor, and he, you know, he was on the simulator putting in the, you know, in the race wins, and he clearly has oodles of talent. So for me, he slots in next. Number 7 for me is Fernando Alonso. I think it would be criminal to put him any lower down than this. He is a former world champion. I know he's getting on a bit now, and who knows how he's going to perform this year, but I think if, as of today, we chucked him in, you know, the Mercedes, I think he would definitely be fighting. There's no doubt about that. So I put him in number 7 for the rankings. So number 8 then for me is Kimi Raikkonen. You know, he fought at the top for many years. He's a great driver. He's even put in some great performances for Alfa Romeo and been there about, you know, some high points finishes, but has been let down by the car that he is in. So for me, Raikkonen is a great driver, and I believe if he was in the best car, he would be a force to be reckoned with. So yeah, he fits in the next slot for me in number 8. Number 9, and Valtteri Bottas finally makes the list. You know, he's currently in one of the best cars, and he is performing as a brilliant number 2, and he constantly gets second and first in the races. I think he would be number 2 to almost every one of those people who I've mentioned already. You know, there's no doubt he's got talent. I don't think he'll ever win a world championship, and he is definitely not one of the best drivers on the grid. So. Number 10 for me, Sergio Perez. You know, he is a guy who has been in multiple different teams. He's raced for McLaren and Force India, and now he's obviously got a chance in the Red Bull, and there's no doubt he's a great driver, and he would be in the top 10 throughout most races if he was in the same car as everybody else. But this year will be very interesting to see how he performs against Max Verstappen, and who knows, he might prove me absolutely foolish and beat Verstappen this year and show that he should be a lot higher up on the list than 10th, but I don't see that happening. I think he'll have a great year, but yeah, I think number 10 is probably fair for him. I'm going to try and fly through these next few a bit quicker now. So Carlos Sainz for me is in 11. You know, head to head with Lando Norris in the same car this year. In the driver standings overall, Carlos Sainz did finish above Lando Norris, and he's got more experience than Norris as well, which is why I put him above Norris in 11th. 12th then is Lando Norris. He's still young. He's only ever driven the McLaren, and he's done a brilliant job in that. But I'm not too sure how he would do if he was in the same car as everybody else. I think I would struggle to argue him finishing higher than the people I've already mentioned. So number 12 for Lando Norris. 13, Pierre Gasly. He's shown he's had talent with AlphaTauri this year, but I can't really rank him up any higher than 13th based on the fact that he was in one of the better cars and he really didn't live up to expectations there. So 13th for Pierre Gasly, even though I think he is a brilliant race driver. 14 for me, Lance Stroll. What can I say? He's in the Tracing Point, the pink Mercedes, one of the best cars you would expect on the grid. They should have easily got to number 3rd in the Constructors' Championship this year, and they didn't. You know, Checo Perez finished 4th in the title after missing 2 races, and Racing Point, even though they had 15-point deduction, they should have definitely had that P3 in the Constructors, and they didn't, because at the end of the day, Lance Stroll let them down. So I can't really rate the guy much higher than that. I think he's a good driver, don't think he's a great driver. P15 for me is Mick Schumacher. Now, he's won F2 this year, but I'm not sure he dominated the season, and you know, he's never driven a Formula 1 car in a season before. Based on if he was to have the same car as everybody else right now in 2021, I can picture Mick coming in at about P15, which goes P16 for Esteban Ocon. I think he's a clumsy driver. I don't think he did a great job when he was at Racing Point Force India, and I don't think he did a great job at Renault either. So for me, he's next on the list, quite low down. Giovinazzi next. He's a good driver. I don't think he is one of the best drivers. You know, he'll get you a few points, but you know, put him in the car with everyone else, I can't see him finishing higher than P17. P18 now, and it is Tsunoda. I imagine he's going to do the job for AlphaTauri this year, but there is no doubt he's kind of got that seat through sort of Honda pushing that move through, rather than, you know, merit perhaps. That is arguable. Right now, I would slot him in towards the bottom of the grid. Last 2 now, and I will go P19, I'll go Nicholas Latifi. Totally not convinced by this guy. He's had 2 years at Williams now, and he has looked a shadow of his teammate, and I think he's too far away from Russell to prove to me that he is anything but an average driver. For me, P19, and P20 is money back. Yeah, he's brought his seat in F1, hasn't he? Let's be honest. You know, he has. And you know, I think it's criminal that someone like Ilott hasn't been given a shout when he did brilliant in Formula 2. I mean, there's no doubt Mazepin, he's won races in Formula 2, but he clearly can drive. I don't think he would hold a torch to anybody else on the grid this year if he was in the same car as them. So that's my ratings for the 2021 driver lineup if they were all driving that Mercedes car this year. So let me know what you guys think. Comment down below, and if you liked it, like the video and subscribe. Thank you.